Good evening. Well, it's time for yet another book review. Last time I reviewed the book, what was it called? The Bird's Christmas Carol by Kate Douglas Wiggin, which I didn't think all that impressive, but I'm still glad that I read the thing. And I was yet to find a book that I really did actually like out of, the last however many I've read. November was a massive disappointment, and obviously I gave you my thoughts on The Bird's Christmas Carol. But tonight, folks, I must say, well, firstly, if I sound a little disconsolate, I stubbed my toe. I don't know if you can see that, but I stubbed my toe. So, I'm in not really pain, but it's just kind of a minor annoyance. So if I sound a little out of it, that's why. Anyway, tonight's book was excellent. Actually, it's exceptional. Very much so. Probably the best book one of the best books I've read this year. Certainly in my top 5 anyway. And it's a book written by personally one of my favorite writers, of whom I've read quite a lot. And that writer in particular is Somerset Maugham, and the book is this one, Mrs. Craddock. Now, in my opinion, of all the writers, at least from the 19th century, until maybe the late 20th century or whatever, Maugham, I think, has one of the most consistently good canons of the literary field. I have read Liza of Lambeth, which I thought a very nice little vignette into impoverished London. I've read The Painted Veil, which I thought, although the subject matter was a bit disturbing, I thought it also a very nice romp through early 20th century China, and adultery mixed in there as well. I've read quite a number of his short stories, and I find that he's one of the most widely travelled and most sagacious, I should say, writers that has ever lived. And this book here, Mrs. Craddock, is evidence of that. I started this book on the 28th, I believe, or 27th, I can't remember when, of November, and I just finished it yesterday. I'm filming this on a Monday, so I finished it on Sunday, because I read it on and off and such. It didn't take me really that long, maybe like 3 or 4 days, but anyhow. This book by far is my favourite by Maugham, and I am yet to find anything comparable. I doubt I'll find anything comparable to this book. This one is just phenomenal. And the story is very, very basic. And in the hands of a less capable writer, it would come off as rather boring and, wouldn't be very successful. But Maugham, he does it with such skill and with such energy and innovativeness, or innovation, that it just, you can't resist it. It's essentially about a woman by the name of Bertha Lay, who lives with her aunt on a very, on a palatial estate in the Kentish countryside. And and who evidently has fallen for a young farm boy by the name of Edward Craddock, who is very hard-working and such, and very disciplined, and, you know, everything that she is not. It's also very impoverished too. They've known each other since youth and have fallen in love. And as the title suggests, they set out to marry, much to the chagrin of Bertha's family and most of the people in the fictitious county Blackstable. Over time, as they do initiate the marriage, Edward seems to grow on the people of Blackstable. And, you know, their married life for the first month or so seems to be rather prosperous. But Bertha, unfortunately, wants nothing out of Edward except his love. And it seems as though that she cannot get much of it, really, as he himself is taken up with quite a bit of work on his own farm, which is on the land of her estate, and also with private affairs and such, and really is kind of indifferent towards her. One may question as to why he even married her in the first place. And therefore she starts to realize that married life isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be. And then the ramifications of that is what this story entails. I will not give away what happens any further than that, or any more than that. I shall say to all of you, go out and read this book. It is utterly spectacular. My favourite by Somerset Maugham, by far. And probably the best book I've read out of the three that I've reviewed here. Because I reviewed one round of three and I reviewed another. You know, of the three I've reviewed in the month of whenever, this is the best one I've read. Let's see, I can't really think of anything else to say about this. I just say it's not really the most common Maugham. You know, something like, it's not like The Moon and Sixpence or Of Human Bondage or anything of that nature. So you may have difficulty tracking it down. But when you do yourself a favour and pick it up. You will not be disappointed. And you'll find that, you know, this experience will be very pleasurable for you, I think. I personally like reading quite a lot about, I personally like reading about the English countryside and, you know, stories that take place in big country houses and all of that. I plan to write my own novel in that type of a setting, maybe. We'll see. But anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go ahead and give this my highest recommendation, Mrs. Craddock by W. Somerset Maugham. And I will see you all very soon with another one, another book review. Don't know when or what book. Either way, I hope you all have a good evening, and I will see you later.